couldn't sleep at all last night. Just thinking of you. Maybe things weren't right. When I was tossing and tossing and turning all night.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to yet another edition of Mario Chaos and the Kid. I'm your co-host, Mario Mancini. I'm a former WWE wrestler and co-instructor of Paradise Alley Pro Wrestling, along with Pretty Paul Roma, Paul Perez, and Big Steve Tracy. Seated to the right of me is the 2019 inductee into the New England Pro Wrestling Hall of Fame. He is the guardian of chaos, a Big Daddy. Big Daddy, what's going on?
Mancini, welcome aboard. Can you believe that we are on episode 22?
20? Is there significance to 22 or no?
I don't know, unless you could remember something, because we know you have the brain of an elephant like Mike Francesa. We know you have a great memory.
The only thing that's significant is if we are on episode 69.
Well, we'll get there soon, but we are on episode 22 here of Mario Chaos and the Kid podcast, coming to you live. Fuck it, we're not live. From the Diadamo and Tracy Bail-Bond studio here at the Paradise Alley Professional Wrestling Training Facility. And seated to the left of me is a man who said haircuts are the reasons that he has trust issues. And that would be from Fightful, Open Table Sports, NBC Sports, Fox Sports, fuck Fox Sports, ESPN, and he is none other than the Kid. How you doing this week, Matt?
I'm doing great, Big Daddy. A little bit of a slow week, though. So,
well, when you say a little bit of
more.
a slow week, is that with pussy?
No, definitely
Willow,
not. Definitely
or...
not.
Don't you love the way you say a slow week with pussy? And
I said pussy willow is what I said.
And the kid goes, oh, definitely not.
Definitely not.
Definitely not. Nice. How old are you, kid? 19?
19, Mancini.
19.
That was 1985 for me, Big Daddy.
Well, I'm sorry to hear that, Mancini.
19.
But you know what? You and the Kid have a lot in common.
What do we have in common? That we have no pubic hair.
Well, both these have no. You manscape, and I believe
Big
that.
Daddy, I do more than manscape. That thing is clean. It's smooth as a baby's bottom.
I thought you said you had a little razor burn. A little
Listen. One time when I shaved it in the shower, I had a bad rash.
I thought you said you had a little nub.
No, I didn't have.
Oh, wait. No, wait. You had nubs. I'm sorry.
So, I'm sorry, Big Daddy. I have two thumbs, okay?
That doesn't make you a
I
bad
have two
guy.
thumbs. What am I going to sit here and say? I'm John Holmes? I got two thumbs. It does the job. You know, Big Daddy, I've never been asked for a refund.
So you're saying you're like Tom Thumb?
I'm Tom Thumb, but my mouth isn't. My mouth is
All right,
Muhammad
Mancini,
Ali.
let's not get all. Your mouth is Muhammad Ali. Wow. Mancini, that was pretty good. Listen, we have a lot of news to cover here on episode 22, so I want to get a lot of things out of the way. We have a lot of shout-outs. We're coming off a huge event that was held at the DeLungo Memorial Hockey Rink here in East Haven.
What a great turnout.
Judgment-free. Listen, Mancini, there was every bit of probably close to about 300 people
There were
in the
a lot
arena.
of people. I mean, I was really sad that Charlene wasn't there, but hey, not everybody could have went. You know what I mean?
Well, first off, who the fuck is Charlene?
I'm just saying, just a friend of mine, you know?
You have a lot of friends, Mancini.
I do.
You're a very generous and benevolent young man.
I try to be.
You know, I've said this before, Mancini. Take away the money, the looks, the charm, the elongated penis, and you remind me a lot of George Clooney.
I love George Clooney. That's good, Big Daddy. Big Daddy, you know, I have 44 bricks of cream cheese. That's 11 cheesecakes.
44 bricks?
44 bricks of cream cheese.
Now, I thought you gave up that business with Scarpolinos.
Oh, I did give it up, but these are just for very good friends of mine.
44 bricks of cream cheese.
44 bricks of cream cheese.
That reminds me of a Chinese film I saw one time called...
44 bricks of cream?
No, I think it was called the bukkake. But
Oh, it was called the bukkake.
That's another story for another time.
Kid, did you ever get a Blumpkin?
Nope.
Oh.
Well, maybe in Bangkok.
Listen.
Are we back in Bangkok already?
I got to tell you, Big Daddy, those people, it sounded like 3,000 people were in that hockey rink, the House of Pain.
Listen, fans, in all seriousness, I know we usually start off with 10, 15, 20 minutes, sometimes the whole podcast with chicanery, but it was a successful event this past weekend at the most dangerous arena here in the Northeast. Mancini for New Haven Pride Cares and for YH Cares. What an event. Give me your impressions of the arena, which is like a small New Haven Coliseum, and the atmosphere for Judgment Free.
Well, I got to tell you, Big Daddy, it's kind of what touches me when you walk in there. It is like a little New Haven Coliseum.
Brings back memories,
It brings
Mancini.
back a lot of memories, and to see so many people file in there, it was just tremendous. It was a great show.
A lot of things happened, Mancini.
Yeah.
Including breaking developments with yourself. Top WWE, WWF jobber of all time. Got in the mix again. Kid, you can verify it because you were there reporting live.
Hit someone in the face with a title belt.
Mancini, you did cost, and I'm jumping around here, but you did cost heavyweight champion Mick Drake, the Dagger. You cost him the title against Showtime Marcel Williams.
Well, listen. Showtime Marcel Williams gave me a mosh face, and I
wouldn't be the first time you got one of those.
I got a little agitated, and I was looking to the right, and what I did was I just swung because I assumed Williams was in front of me, and Drake went to grab Williams and got in the way, and I ended up belting him with the belt.
Well, Mancini, this is what I want to question. First off, for fans that maybe weren't in attendance or didn't see it live on Facebook or the pending video that will be coming out from Commissioner Hogg and the center ring crew, you were the special guest referee for the heavyweight championship, the trilogy between Showtime and the Dagger. And Mancini, I'm very surprised with your knowledge and extensive background in the professional wrestling world that you would even physically get involved to take the belt, no matter who it was. I'm a little disappointed, and strike another grappler in the middle of the ring to cost them the Paradise Alley Heavyweight Championship.
We all make
Explain yourself,
We all
Mancini.
make mistakes, Big Daddy. I lost my temper, but however, thereafter,
what made you grab the gold and strike? Whether it would be...
Well, here's what happened. I got knocked down. I was pushed into a corner. I was slammed into the corner.
Well, I get that,
in
Mancini.
the sternum, kind of knocked the wind out of me. So I went down. And when I got up, I went to make the 2 count. Williams had Drake pinned. And while I was counting, I looked over, and there's the belt in the middle of the ring. So I made an assumption that Williams whacked him with the belt while I was down. And I was asking Williams, if you hit him with this belt, did you hit him with this belt?
Well, Mancini, be careful when you follow the masses, because sometimes the M is silent. That's about as useless as the G in lasagna. I am very surprised at you being co-instructor at Paradise Alley, owner of Paradise Alley, but yet you were in the ring in official capacity as an official referee, kid. I want your opinion.
Yeah, but when the match started,
took that action, whether you got struck by Showtime or not. It's illegal. You shouldn't have done it, and that's why I'm here to put you on the spot right now.
When the match started, Mancini wasn't the ref, though. He ran in mid-match when the House of Pain started their, as we say here, chicanery.
Well, listen, that all goes back to Friday Night Alley fights. I get it.
It does, yeah, but House of Pain started their stuff. Mancini came out, and then he inserted himself in the match as an official. What made you want to run down there, Mancini?
Well, I got sick of the
You
House of
got to
Pain.
explain yourself here.
I am. Give me a chance.
Well, that's why Mancini eats glitter for breakfast so he can shine all day.
Give me a chance.
Go ahead, Mancini.
I got sick of the House of Pain. I knew damn well somehow, some way they were going to get involved and they were going to fuck up the whole match.
Well, I get that point, but in your official, this is what I'm trying. Maybe
Listen,
you're not
I
hearing
saw
me.
Slick
Your official capacity.
I saw Slick Willie Thompson losing control. So I booted him out of there.
So
and
what
I
are you
said,
saying? That Ref Bill Thompson is inept? Is that what you're saying?
No, I saw him stressing out, and I thought the House of Pain was going to take advantage of him because he is a consummate professional.
Well, he
and
is.
the best at what he does.
Yes.
And I didn't want to see him get abused, so I took over the duties.
Listen, I get that, Mancini. I'm understanding all that, okay? But what I'm surprised at, as your brother of 35 years, we're in this together, Mancini, here on the broadcast and in every aspect of life. I am just stunned at your professionalism, that in official capacity for your own company, refereeing, I understand, but to actually take the championship belt and strike another grappler, I want to know, I want the fans to know your mindset. Is it because of the heat recently between the House of Pain and yourself, dating back to the last show when they beat you down? I mean, what is it, Mancini? Is it because you got mushed?
Big Daddy, I'm going to
You're not answering the question.
What was going through your mind, Mancini?
I'm simply going to put it this way.
Thank God.
Okay. I am a father of 3 daughters. I am a graduate with a bachelor's degree from Albertus Magnus College.
You're a tremendous gentleman.
I am a graduate with a Juris Doctor from the Massachusetts School of Law. I have been with a law firm for 24 years.
Valid points.
I, in the center of my heart, when you break it down, I'm just, and I own Paradise Alley Professional Wrestling, and I'm one of the VPs for Paradise Alley Professional Wrestling. In the center of my heart, when push comes to shove, I'm just another fucking professional wrestler. Put all those things aside, and who I really am and all I'll ever be. Give me all the titles in the world. Give me all the certificates and diplomas in the world. When you break it down, all I really am and all I'll ever be is a pro wrestler. So if you mosh my face, whether I have a belt in my hand or a glass Coke bottle, I'm going to beat your fucking ass.
Well, Mancini, this is what I like to see. Full of piss and vinegar. The Mario Mancini that's been in the ring with the Hart Foundation, Jake the Snake, Randy Macho Man Savage, The Undertaker, Ted DiBiase, Harley Race. It's a who's who in professional wrestling. And that's what I wanted to hear, Mancini. You answered the question. I said it on episode 21. I'll say it on 22, and I'll say it when we get to episode 69. I love it when you're full of piss and vinegar, Mancini. You answered the question. So before we break down, and now you did, listen, the bottom line is, Mancini, like you said, when someone pushes you, you're going to push them back. You're a pro wrestler at heart. Where does it go from here? Showtime Marcel Williams pinned Mick Drake. Drake is off to the UK or to the Orient, over to Japan. Konnichiwa to all our friends over there. I get it. Drake's a star. What happens from here, Mancini?
Well, as you could see, I was a little hasty in the count. I really didn't want to count 3. You know what I mean? I felt responsible for him.
Well, you owned it.
I owned it, and I felt responsible for him losing the heavyweight title. Therefore, the only way I can figure to make it right, and I'm so sick of Williams.
Are you calling Williams a chump sucker?
I'm going to take him on myself for the PAPW Heavyweight title.
Wait a minute.
I'm going to wrestle him myself.
Wait a minute, Mancini.
Breaking news.
Go ahead. First off, before we get breaking news, because I want to remind you of a couple of things.
Well, remind me, Big Daddy.
I don't want to go down that road yet. The last time that you laced up your boots and stepped into the squared circle, you got pinned by Zachariah Gibbs.
He got lucky.
At the Mohegan Casino by Roma Prodigy. He pinned you.
I wasn't looking.
Snot-nosed kid or not.
Snot-nosed kid, I wasn't looking.
He's the IC champion, and he pinned you.
I don't give a damn what he is.
2-time IC champion.
2 times. That's right. I'm just
He got lucky.
See, Mancini, but that's what happened the last time. Showtime
is
the heavyweight champion.
I don't care if he's the heavyweight champion. I'm going to be more focused. I'm going to be on my game. I'm going to be in shape. I'm going to go there. I'm going to go there. I'm going to be in, out, over, up, down, across. I'm going to get him. Lou Albano.
Well, I love the Lou Albano work there, Mancini. I will say this. Sometimes it takes you all day, Mancini, to get nothing done.
Let me tell you something.
I will say that.
Listen, you're right. You're not wrong. I had a slow day. I woke up like I didn't sleep at all. I don't know why.
I couldn't sleep at all.
I woke up like I was in an episode of The Walking Dead. I was dead on my feet. I've been dead on my feet all day, and I don't know why.
Well, I just wanted to address that right from the rip on what's going to happen here. So on May 11th, which is our next monster show.
I am challenging the PAPW Heavyweight Champion. I am going to wrestle for the heavyweight title.
Mano y mano.
Now that's May 11th.
May 11th.
Rally cry at the DeLongo Memorial Hockey Rink.
Yeah, for Nicky Vesicchio's family and Nicky Vesicchio. At the East Haven Hockey Rink, the most dangerous
arena in the Northeast.
There you go.
You're right, Mancini. And listen, it's going to be a great cause for the fans out there that don't know, and how you wouldn't know about it. I'm not quite sure because it's been very well documented. Nick Vesicchio is a young man here in the town of East Haven who was unfortunately very, very seriously injured in an accident. A tree-falling accident while he was doing yard duties at his home. Salt-of-the-earth family, Vesicchios, a great kid in Nicky Vesicchio. This could be one of the most important charities and benefits that Paradise Alley will do. We're going to get onto that in the coming weeks. May 11th, rally cry for Nick Vesicchio. And big news coming, fans, already. You heard it here. Former WWF, WWE ring veteran legend Mario Mancini from Mario Chaos and the Kid podcast challenges the heavyweight champion, who's also, I believe, the only grappler in Paradise Alley history to hold all three belts, and that would be Showtime Marcel Williams. That's worth the price of admission alone. Kid, break down what you saw at Judgment Free with Mick Drake, Showtime Marcel Williams, what your broadcast partner here from the podcast did, and your thoughts on May 11th of Mancini of possibly maybe capturing his first ever singles heavyweight championship.
I want to see Mancini in the ring. I haven't seen you wrestle, before in person. I wasn't at the Mohegan Sun show, but when you ran down, I was, kind of befuddled as to why you were coming out, and then you kicked Ref Bill out of there, and you went in. You didn't have a ref shirt on. I wish you did.
He had something more important on, a Paradise Alley professional wrestling warm-up suit, which is more important than a fucking referee suit. You cocksucker.
Cocksucker? I don't know about that.
It was only once he was wearing a dress, and
there was duct tape involved.
I tripped.
Well, you heard what Morozov called
Big Daddy tripped and it fell in his mouth by accident.
I tripped and it fell into his mouth. Yeah, speaking of that, cocksuckers. Zafir Al-Rahihi, Maxim Morozov, the Paradise Alley Tag Team Champions. Collusion, Mancini, when you were nowhere around to help out your broadcast partners, they interfered in our meeting for Mario Chaos and the Kid. And you know what Morozov called us?
What did the Russian call you, Big Daddy?
A la Bull Durham, Crash Davis. What does it take you to get tossed out of a game from an umpire in Major League Baseball?
Big Daddy, he called you and the Kid?
Yes. The video's out there.
A cocksucker?
A cocksucker. So for once,
Kid,
Mancini,
you
called
at
cocksucker.
19 years old, he called you a cocksucker?
Break it down, kid.
He did. Yeah, we were having a nice conversation about the podcast, talking about what's coming up, where we're going, what we're doing. And, Collusion came in and called us a couple of cocksuckers. And
I don't like that, Mancini. It's going viral on Twitter. You know that. And speaking of Twitter, what is your handle, kid, on Twitter?
It's still Degnan_Matt, sadly.
Degnan_Matt.
Last name first.
Last name first. Would that be first name last?
Speaking of social media.
Oh, what is your Twitter, Mancini?
Not that it matters.
WWF Mario Mancini.
Not that it fucking matters.
Well, listen.
Wait, hold on. Paul Perez's, and listen, He's still wearing that fucking mask. I get creeped out by it every week. I'm not quite sure why this fucking grown man wears a Lucha Libre mask wherever he goes. I don't get it. What is his Twitter handle, kid, for Paul Perez, producer extraordinaire?
PAPW Griever.
And he's wearing that fucking mask, fans. You can see it. And, kid, you can catch the Guardian of Chaos. I'm very active on social media, especially on Twitter. And it is what, kid?
Big Daddy Gawk.
Big Daddy GOC, the Gawk. Check it out. Very entertaining channel. Go to PAPW Official. Hit up the Griever. Hit up Mancini, the kid, myself. There's plenty of letters out there that are coming in for viewer mail. So now that we talked about the most important thing, which was Mancini's appearance at Judgment Free, kid, let's run down the results. You and our good friend from the Cream Team,
Dom, did a great job with
Dom
pictures.
Caps 11 did an unbelievable job ringside. I got to tell you,
Took a lot of pictures. His camera actually died from taking too many pictures.
well, he's growing on me like a fungus.
Yeah.
Dom Caps 11, a part of the Paradise Alley family. Kid, you were dressed kind of like a combination of Prince, Jimi Hendrix, and Pee Wee Herman at Judgment Free. I got to say, very impressive.
You like the outfit?
Kid, you looked unbelievable. Let's run down Judgment
You could see
Free.
me coming from a mile away.
Look, listen, on a scale from 0 to 10, kid, you could be an 11. Here's the results, fans. Judgment Free was an unbelievable event. Again, we talked about May 11th. We'll be alluding to that on upcoming episodes. Don't forget, we also have Friday Night Alley fights coming up. We're going to throw that date out there, too. But let's talk about Judgment Free. The first match, this one set the tone for the night.
It's very fast-paced, Big Daddy.
Two excellent grapplers. Dame Smith, the Wild Child, against Street Thug, Luchador, Jiggy Sosa. Break that one down, kid, because from the rip, you couldn't have opened up Judgment Free better than that. Hard to follow that match.
It went by, like lightning because they were running all over the place, off the ropes and everything like that. I didn't really catch most of it because I was still doing backstage stuff. But from what I saw towards the end of it, it was very good. Damian Smith won.
Well, listen, Smith did go over. Both men are well-versed
they
high
both look
flyers.
great
in
that
great
match.
shape.
Yeah.
Both these guys are in great shape. They wrestle for several different organizations.
Damian Smith actually had some NXT appearances as well.
Well, listen, he's quite the talent, and Jiggy Sosa is no one to be trifled with. That opened up Judgment Free. It was an unbelievable bout. Smith did go over on Sosa, but I would like to see a rematch of that.
Oh, yeah.
After Dame Smith and Jiggy Sosa at Judgment Free, we had the Pyramids of Power. I don't know if they were going to camel toe races, the camel jockey races. I don't know where they were going, but Aladdin and Ala Ding Ding returned to Paradise Alley. Mancini hit it.
You put the ooh mama back into my
smile, child.
Oh yeah.
Mancini,
I don't
we
think
have
you guys are
totally
on rhythm,
fucked
yeah.
this up, man. It's supposed to be Shama-lama, Rama-lama-lama, ding-dong. Hey.
You put the ooh mama.
Oh, man, we lost it, that ding-ding thing. But anyway, fans. Yeah, he was there. The Pyramids of Power against the Prophet. He is huge. He's in phenomenal shape. Why this man has not destroyed Paradise Alley, why he is not the heavyweight champion or wearing some gold around his waist, I will never know what's going on with Big Jim Anderson. Kid, break that one down. Pyramids of Power against Big Jim. It was a special handicap match at Judgment Free.
Yeah, that's another match I really didn't catch most of because I was still towards the beginning
But
of the show.
have you seen the size of Big Jim Anderson?
Yeah, he's got muscles in places where most people don't even have places, Big Daddy.
Mancini, I'm coming right to the front office here. Since his return and the tagging of Revelation with the monster, the Meadowlands monster, and he's been booked in several other territories, so it's been tough to get the monster back. Big Jim Anderson, in my opinion, why is this man, once he gets back to 100%, which it appears that he is, he needs to be challenging for the gold here in Paradise Alley, Mancini. And I want to know why. From the front office, Big Jim Anderson appears to be on the back burner right now. Give the fans an answer about the profit.
Well, Big Daddy, I have to tell you this. It's kind of scary for me because if by chance, if by luck, if Marcel Williams slips on a banana peel, I don't want to wrestle Big Jim Anderson.
Big Jim Anderson, in my opinion, is the most dominant force in Paradise Alley professional wrestling.
I'm going to tell you this. You were correct about
A unit.
about the
He really is, kid.
the giant there.
The Meadowlands Monster.
The
He's
Me-
booked in every
Meadowland-
territory.
Yeah, so he is unavailable, but I'm going to tell you something about Big Jim Anderson. He walked into this business alone, and he's going to be in this business alone because he brings that kind of presence, and he can be alone. And I think you're right. I think his time is now, and I think if I slip on a banana peel somehow, or somehow somebody gets involved that shouldn't be there, like the House of Pain, and something happens to me, I don't see a reason why Big Jim Anderson wouldn't be the number one contender for the heavyweight title against Williams. And the problem Williams is going to have is he is an absolute tank. Big Jim Anderson's a tank, and I don't see how his chump sucker moves are going to have any effect on him at all.
Listen, Showtime, not to be underestimated. Listen,
Oh,
well, God bless
There's
you,
the one.
Mancini. Listen, Showtime's a savvy ring veteran. There's no two ways about that. Name one grappler in this company right now, and I'll even throw in MLW star Richard Holliday. I'll throw in Matthias. I'll throw in Panic. I'll throw in the House of Pain. I'll throw in anybody you want right now. Name one grappler in this company that could compete with Big Jim Anderson's physicality inside the ring. Name one.
There's only one.
Who would that be, Mancini?
That would be Flash Waller.
Well, Flash Waller is Roma-trained, Mancini-brained, Roma prodigy, and he's got an unbelievable future, and we're going to get on to what happened between him and the consumers are buzzing, the most marketable man from the dynasty, Richard Holliday, because it was an inspiring moment at Judgment Free. But I'll get off my soapbox here about Big Jim Anderson, because to me, he's destined for gold, and I don't see anybody stopping him. But we're going to move on to another arch nemesis of yours, Mancini. And thank God that Perez is still in some sort of shape. I'm getting in shape. We got the youthful exuberance of the Kid. Mario Chaos and the Kid podcast has your back because you have a lot of heat. Not only with Nutrius X, who's on the shelf right now, suspended. Not only with Showtime Marcel Williams, who you're lacing up the boots to get back in the ring with. God bless you, Mancini. Also with their house, their rules. The House of Pain, who went up against Judgment Free, the debuting Jay and Sean Haven. I want you to break down that one and then address the elephant in the room, which is the House of Pain and the heat that you have. The Haven, House of Pain, Judgment Free. Break it down. Unbelievable debut.
Two very talented gentlemen. It was their pro debut, so they are still a bit green. And to go against the House of Pain, who are ring veterans and have turned into absolute savages, I mean, they were at a little disadvantage. However, they did pretty well for their first time out.
The crowd was in a frenzy for the Haven, Mancini. They really had a lot of supporters out there. A Kid, you were ringside. I believe you were out there in full
one
capacity.
that I watched. I watched that match.
Give me your impression of Jay and Sean Haven to be able to even step in on their debut match against Hakeem Ali and Nick Payne, former tag team champions.
Former. They had some nuggets going out there against the House of Pain, making their debut against them.
Testicular fortitude.
Yeah, testicular fortitude. They had, it was a good match for them. They took House of Pain to their limits.
Tell me the crowd reaction from you being at ringside.
I don't think the crowd ever sat for that match. I was there right at the ring post watching everything. I don't even know how many videos I took for that match, but I was, very in tune with what was going on. But the crowd was right behind me, and they never stopped. And they were all behind the Haven, not House of Pain.
It's surprising because the House of Pain has been a fan favorite here in the Nutmeg State,
Well,
the
since they took out-
Constitution State, if you will.
Since they took out Mancini, no one's really been behind them. But
Well,
I understand that because
I can
you
understand
never want to
that.
see Mancini get the boots.
Here in the shadows of Titan Towers, Vince, the invite is still there, Vincent Kennedy McMahon. Anyway, Mancini, two other students who are now professional wrestlers, Jay and Sean Haven, the Haven that made their debut. Again, Roma trained, Mancini brained. Unbelievable. I want to get on to the next match that featured former Paradise Alley heavyweight champion and current MLW star, member of the Dynasty with Hammerstone and MJF. And that would be the most marketable man, Richard Holliday, who went up against another Roma prodigy, product of Paradise Alley, Paul Perez, Mario Mancini, Paul Roma, Flash Waller, against a guy who's destined to be a great in this business. Kid, I want your impressions of Richard Holliday and Flash Waller. Amazing.
Yeah, Richard and I, we have some road trips again coming up in the coming months and weeks, since we go on many of them to all of his events that he works. But that was a really good match. Flash looked good. Holliday looked good. They both looked equally.
Holliday looks good every time he steps into the ring.
Yeah, even I got a video of his entrance. I put it on Twitter. Since I run the PAPW Twitter, all the videos that I took.
You're busier than a blow-up doll at a frat party.
I use that line. And
it's an oldie but goodie.
And then the girl said to me, "Why would there be a blow-up doll at a frat party?"
Well, if
and
she
I
had
kind
to
of
think
thought about that. Oh yeah, I kind of thought about that.
Well, she's got the brain, obviously, of a dehydrated baby.
Yeah, but Holliday looked good, Flash looked good, and then after the match, Holliday put over Flash, which was really nice of him.
In other words, like passing the torch here in Paradise Alley from the original Roma Mancini Paradise Alley student to the current crop of stars, Flash Waller. Mancini, this is where you come in. I want your opinion on what Richard Holliday did for Flash Waller at Paradise Alley, Judgment Free, in the middle of the ring with the world watching, especially since Holliday has become such an influential person in this business.
Well, it was a very classy move on the part of Richard Holliday. Certainly, it's a lot easier to give props like that after you win. I'm sure if Waller happened to get lucky, he, those kind words wouldn't have came across. But, Holliday is a savvy ring veteran, and he's going anywhere but up. So it was really nice of him to give him those kind of props, and it actually brought the kid to tears and his family.
It did bring the kid to tears. I saw him in the locker room. The Flash Waller was in tears. Mancini, that probably would be, people talk about WrestleMania moments, living in the moment.
I wish his aunt came down from Massachusetts, but she didn't. Well,
that would have been a hell of a family moment for Flash Waller. I'm going to say that about that moment. That was the Paradise Alley moment of the year, maybe since this company has
got a standing ovation, Big Daddy.
That's what I'm talking about.
Yeah,
fans,
everyone
you have
felt
to see
good.
this. Holliday's what he said to Flash Waller, passing the torch, so to speak, from the star student now who's making his way in this professional wrestling world to a man in Flash Waller who has the vision in the future. And Paul Perez is nodding his head in agreement with me, and he's talking to me in the earpiece. Fuck it. I'm not wearing an earpiece. Anyway, Perez does agree. He's given the thumbs up. And while we're on that.
Through the mask.
The thumbs up, Perez. I'm going to come to you first. Pissed off or pissed off? He didn't give me a chance to finish it. And it's pissed on for Paul Perez. Mancini? Pissed off or pissed on?
Pissed off.
Pissed off, but that was quick. Kid?
Pissed off.
I can listen. It's unanimous this time around. Well, at least amongst us three. Paul Perez is really into some
pissed
weird
on with
stuff.
or without the mask?
Well, that Perez with or with? Well, he's always got the mask on, so I'd have to say with the mask.
Yeah.
And Mancini, I heard you're into a lot of things, Mancini, but you're not into that. Could you tell the fans before we get to the rest of the results of Judgment Free what you are into? All right, Mancini, that's well said.
Enough said.
On
yes.
to the next match, and this was featuring the NCW Tag Team Champions. This was worth the price of admission alone. against the Paradise Alley Tag Team Champions. That would be our arch rivals right now, Zafir Al-Rahihi, Maxim Morzov, along with Abdul Haqsu.
Yeah, we got some heat with them, Big Daddy.
Yeah, well,
I'm not very happy with
there's
that
going to be
run-in.
more heat, too.
Yes.
What did you think of Bullet Joe and Robbie the Giant?
They look great. You saw my promo with them?
A promo that's gone viral. Hey, listen, Bullet Joe and Robbie the Giant are two of the most unbelievable midgets, a.k.a. Mighty
That's got
Minis.
hundreds of views. It's got over 1,000, I think, or 2,000, something like that.
That was one hell of a promo, kid. I got to tell you that.
Yeah.
With fans, if you haven't seen it on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram,
Official
YouTube,
PAPW.
Official PAPW.
All the videos and pictures I took are there.
Unbelievable.
Took a lot of them.
Kid, you did a great job. But Bullet Joe and Robbie the Giant are two of the best mini workers in this country, perhaps the world. And for them to challenge collusion for the titles, break that one down, kid.
Well, they stand at 6 feet tall.
Combined,
yeah. So that match was pretty good. Again, another match where I couldn't watch all of it, but I, caught the end of it. Mancini's shaking his head over here. What's wrong,
Well,
Mancini?
do you know why? Because I saw Mancini on Judgment Free in the locker rooms with Bullet Joe and Robbie the Giant. So as you can see, to my amazement, as I walked into the shower area, because I am known to hang out in the shower area, I am a cockologist.
Catching a peek.
Well, no, I am a cockologist. I taught cockology behind the walls for 25 years.
Studying in the showers, I would
Studying.
say. Studying in the showers.
So I walked into the dressing rooms at the DeLungo Memorial Hockey Rink,
In East
the
Haven,
most
Connecticut.
dangerous arena in the Northeast. And much to my dismay, I see two miniature men and one full-sized, full-grown man. The funny thing is, they were all naked, and they all basically had the same size purple helmet. I always thought everything was symmetrical. I did see the Meadowlands Monster at one time. It was like a slinky. He is 7 feet tall. But then when I saw Bullet Joe and Robbie the Giant next to Mancini, it was equal.
Those guys were tripods compared to me.
Mancini, you're back with us, Mancini. Let's break down the match now that we went through the dressing room story. Give me your impressions, kid. Collusion did retain the titles,
Yes.
listen, Bullet Joe, Robbie the Giant, 2 stars, worth the
I'm
price
looking
of
forward
admission
to see
alone.
who the new contenders for the tag titles are now. Maybe the Haven, they had a good showing.
It might be too early for the Haven. There's a lot of tag teams out there. The Pyramids of Power are back. We don't know if the Filthy Family is right around the corner. A lot of things happening here at Paradise
Filthy Family's
Alley.
getting business done at Battlefront.
Well, they are all over the place. So listen, Filthy Family, Big Cal, and the Dirtbag. You know he is a dirtbag.
He's a dirtbag, yeah.
He's a dirtologist, kind of like I'm a cockologist. Let's get on to, we talked about the heavyweight championship match. Let's talk about something that really caught me off guard here. It was fast and furious. I'll run down the participants. We had the flamboyant one, I'm Rick James, bitch, Kenny Roberts, Jin the Destroyer, who's awfully large individual, the Red Lion, Chris Battle, the former champion, Sergeant Murray, Panic, the Luchador, IC champion Zachariah Gibbs, Bloodsaw. Now, this was the Anytime, Any Gold gauntlet match. Listen, it was a clusterfuck from the beginning. Kid, break down the gauntlet match and our new United States heavyweight champion.
Yeah, the first couple falls were a little bit quick, but it was all over the place. It ended with, Bloodsaw and Gibbs. Gibbs was looking to become
a
two-belt.
two-belt champion.
Two-belt Gibbs champ. As they
Did
say,
Paul Perez say that in the earpiece?
We're not wearing an earpiece, Big Daddy. Who the fuck are we kidding?
Fuck.
What
stood out in that match? Because I'm going to tell you what stood out for me besides Bloodsaw.
Well, Roberts, he went through a couple people, and then he got stopped, which...
Kenny Roberts always makes a solid showing of himself. That's why I call him the Chocolate Dusty Rose. That's a tribute because Roberts is a large individual, and those elbows are a force to be reckoned with. Who I was impressed with, listen, there's nobody more impressive than the Red Lion, Chris Battle. He wrestles in every organization around. Why he is not have a gold around his waist here in Paradise Alley, a savvy veteran like Chris Battle, is beyond me. I was also impressed not only by the size of the dome of Sergeant Murray, but how about Luchador? And I haven't seen him before, but he was in tremendous shape. Panic. He came out with what I think was a rather large drag queen. Break it down, kid. Panic.
Yeah, it was a pretty interesting combination. Them coming. Do you know who's under that mask? Or
I
no?
do not know.
You
Just
don't?
like I could barely tell if it's Perez under the
Because
mask.
when I walked into the locker room, he
It
still
might have
had that mask on, like Perez.
It might be one of Perez's relatives, but he made a very good showing for himself. Panic.
He did.
Listen, as did Kenny Roberts. Jin the Destroyer must be hitting the gym. He had that damn doll, but he is gotten in phenomenal shape.
Kenny Roberts broke that doll.
Well, Kenny Roberts does not like the doll. Let's get jiggy with it. Now, kid, the finals, what stood out in that match, and now our new U.S. champion is Bloodsaw.
Yeah, well, Bloodsaw, he got the easy draw coming in last.
In the paint. The Bloodsaw wears the face paint.
Yeah.
A la the Ultimate Warrior.
Yeah. He got the lucky draw. He came in last, 7th participant. So he was the fresh man going up against Gibbs. So we got the best of Gibbs there. So he's now U.S. champion for PAPW. Definitely interesting.
So fans, podcasters, Twitter universe, overall, Paradise Alley, Judgment Free, presented by the LGBTQ community, New Haven Pride, Yellow House Cares. I want to give a big shout-out to my broadcast partners in the booth that night. Number one, Mr. Steady Eddie, Mr. Solid play-by-play. Matt DeCourt is always on the money, kid. Matt DeCourt, an excellent play-by-play announcer, broadcaster here for Paradise Alley. But we had a special person in the booth, DJ Accident Report. He was unbelievable. Not only is he easy on the eyes to the New Haven Pride crew, very knowledgeable in his wrestling background, an excellent broadcaster. I have to thank MC extraordinaire Mark Adam Haggerty for bringing in the infamous or the famous, and if you've seen him in the Gay Young Classic, it was unbelievable, DJ Accident Report. Give me your breakdown, Mancini, of DJ Accident Report, Mark Adam Haggerty, and our good friend Louis Payne for Judgment Free, Mancini.
Well, let's start with Louis Payne.
Talk into the microphone because Perez is going to kick your ass.
There would be no Paradise Alley without Louis Payne. Louis Payne is an integral part of Paradise Alley. Everything he does is very much appreciated. You know, I think the fans have heard me say time after time how talented Mark Adam Haggerty is, and he's going places, and he will be going to big places in the next coming year.
The Fun Boys,
DJ Accident Report, just extremely talented, high energy.
I was very impressed, Mancini, spending the afternoon in the
high
booth.
energy. I mean, the guy he's just full of talent, and we couldn't have had a better person at the show.
Listen, the most genuine, sincere, professional guy that I've had a chance to spray tan with in the booth, and that would be DJ Accident Report. Yes, Mancini, we went
in his pocket pool.
Listen, we did go spray tanning together, myself and DJ Accident Report. And DJ, I hope you're listening to that, and Ariel and Lady Baraka and the Nobodies. It was one hell of a night. There was a lot of candy and cookies floating around. The flight attendant was somewhere around. One hell of a night. What I want to talk about next is something that happened this past week on Facebook Live from our good friend Jason Rodriguez and Super Elite Entertainment. Not only was he at Judgment Free broadcasting live on Facebook, he has a program and a podcast, Super Elite Entertainment, that is off the hook. Mancini, yourself, Paul Perez, and Paul Roma were on Super Elite Entertainment.
I am going to tell you about that. It was an incredible show. It was 2 hours.
It's on YouTube right now.
I have to say that.
To say this.
Toward the end of the show, I welcomed people to friend me on Facebook.
What a mistake.
And I will accept their friend request. And from last night at 11 o'clock to as we sit here right now, I've gotten 66 friend requests.
Well, Super Elite Entertainment and Jason Rodriguez are on the cutting edge of studios and broadcasting, and very, very professional. And he put on one hell of a show with the three Paradise Alley trainers and owners here, Mancini. Give me your impressions on Super Elite and Jason himself.
A very talented young man. He's got a great studio. He had great questions. He kept the show running, kept it going at a good pace.
Mancini, 2 hours.
I was really impressed. It went by like 2 minutes.
And now, fans, that is out there. Not only was it on Facebook Live, it is out there on YouTube. Go out to Super Elite Entertainment and subscribe. And the one thing that the kid and I did notice, number one, Paul Perez finally said more than a couple of words.
And took off that mask.
I'm not sure if he took off the mask. I didn't really look. I
do have to tell you something. The knee slapper today had me doubled over.
Tell me, Mancini.
A fan made a comment about the show.
What was the comment, Mancini?
An hour and 15 minutes into the show, and Perez finally spoke.
Listen,
you know what else I noticed, Big Daddy?
Tell me what you noticed.
That fucking Yankees jacket.
See, you know what? It's funny that you should bring that up because the kid and I were texting back and forth. Mancini, you were wearing that same fucking Yankees jacket that you got from Billy Martin and George Steinbrenner back in the 70s, and you wore it on Super Elite Entertainment.
I did. It goes everywhere with me.
And you know what else I noticed on Super Elite Entertainment?
What's that?
You and that fucking cell phone. It rang live on the show. You had to answer it. Mancini, what is going on? Are you that popular and that famous?
It's my lifeline.
It really is, Mancini. But listen, Super Elite Entertainment was unbelievable. Roma threw out some stories that you can only catch if you go to his shoot video, Glorified. It's on the Paradise Alley Pro Wrestling.com website. You can check out all the information there. Paul Perez gave some incredible insight to training a la like Stu Hart in the dungeon up in Calgary when Paul Perez and his father were down in the basement when Perez was 12 and 13 years old, teaching other men how to grapple lucha libre style. Paul Perez and his family are kind of like the Harts when it comes to training in the basement. I understand what you're saying. Perez is shaking his head with the mask. I get it.
Training in the basement.
Training in the basement. And if you fans went out there and caught the Viceland series of Dark Side of the Ring, they've already run down the murder of Bruiser Brody, the story of Miss Elizabeth and the Macho Man, and the story of the Montreal screw job was on last night, and they ran over the Hart Foundation, Mancini, where Brett tried to get you to go up to Calgary. It was on last night.
It was on last night? Where?
The Montreal screw job was on Viceland, Dark Side of the Ring.
I remember that.
And Mancini, as they were talking about the dungeon and Stu Hart, I thought about you and the invitation that Bret Hart gave to you and the WWF. Repeat that story from last week.
Well, actually, it was 1990, and Bret just came over to sit next to me, and he was kind of just staring at me. And I went, "What?" And he just kept staring at me. I was like, "What?" He's like, "How would you like to go to Calgary?" I go, I've been here for 6 years already. You want me to go to Calgary now?
This is 6 years into your WWF, WWE career.
Right, which ended up staying 8. So I said, listen, if this was 86, I'd go in a minute. But I've already put 6 years in here. Now you want me to go to Calgary to work on the farm, freeze my ass off on the bus because his father won't fix the heat.
And maybe break an arm, separate his shoulder.
Yeah, I go meet Stu and he goes, nice to meet you, Mancini. And he breaks my arm. No, I'm not doing that.
Well, again, Mancini, that's why having you here and your credibility after watching, we lived it back in the day, but watching the Viceland series, Dark Side of the Ring last night, and with the Montreal screw job, and Brett talking about Stu Hart in the dungeon, it brought back things that you have lived in reality and that you could relate to people out here on the podcast that you don't get anyplace else, and this is what you get here at Paradise Alley, fans. At this point, Mancini, that's an unbelievable story, and it's relevant to what we're talking about. I want to give some big shout-outs to JD from New York 206, Off the Script, Uncle Eddie and the Ham Radio Show, Foul Nation, Morning Men, Gary Michael Capetta, and the legendary George Napolitano, who I'm in constant contact with. They love our stuff. They're legends. Unbelievable what's happening. And, kid, Perez, how long in are we? Wow,
50.
this is unbelievable. But what
We're
I would
actually
like,
talking about pro wrestling too.
we actually did talk about pro wrestling, but this is what I want to talk about right now. Listen, we know we got Friday Night Alley fights coming up on May 11th.
The WWE.
No, wait. I'm sorry. That's on May 3rd, Friday Night Alley fights. May 3rd, here at the facility, Friday Night Alley fights. We will run that down next week. May 11th, the big event for Nick Vesicchio at Rally Cry and Kid. Briefly, and fuck the WWE because I don't like the product. Not Vince McMahon, Mancini. I would never say fuck Vince McMahon. I wouldn't say that.
But you are indirectly.
No, I am not. The brand sucks. I can't even watch it. I rely on JD. Kid, give me your breakdown. Listen, Rollins is over to Raw. Reigns went to SmackDown Live. Listen, there's all kinds of releases.
Rollins was never on SmackDown. Rollins has always been on Raw.
All right, listen, what did Bully Ray say to me,
Give you
kid?
5 spots, you fuck up 4.
Bingo. I'm going to give you quickly and briefly run down the WWE brand split, the superstar shakeup, because, kid, give me your thoughts on the releases and what's going on here. Fill the fans in on this part as Mancini pulls his pud. Viva Freddy Fudpucker.
It was definitely interesting. They switched the mid-carders. Finn Balor is now on SmackDown. Samoa Joe is now on Raw. Lars Sullivan found a home. He'll be on SmackDown. Elias is on SmackDown. Roman Reigns is on SmackDown. Now, Mancini, what were your thoughts on the Superstar shakeup?
Well, that's about it, huh, Mancini?
What is that?
Explain it, kid.
What's
Explain
the
the superstars.
What's
Explain it.
So there's 2 brands, Raw and SmackDown.
Right.
So they basically, 2 weeks after WrestleMania, that they've done it the past 3-4 years, they switched the rosters up to make it a little bit more new, so it's not, staggering storylines all the time. You just switch. That's why they call it a Superstar
New
shakeup.
school teaching old school right now. Continue. This is priceless.
They never had a Superstar shakeup in the 80s?
No.
Mancini, break down here as we're talking about, listen, we're talking about the big company. We know we got AEW and StarCast 2 coming up, and Double or Nothing's coming up pretty soon in May. But Mancini, we've talked about this several times. We don't have a lot of time left on the podcast. Thank God we've talked a lot about Paradise Alley, gave our shout-outs. You don't watch the product much like Perez. I try not to watch it. Like I said, I rely on JD from Off the Script. Break down, and you've done it before, the comparison.
Today's product
Versus
that back then. The rosters, I guess you could say.
The rosters.
Yeah.
Break it down. I know you've talked about it several times, but I want to end on this note of you explaining what you think of the current day product compared to your day, which spans 35 years.
I'm going to take you way, way back. A friend of mine sent me a newspaper clipping from 1983 when I was in wrestling school. And it was from the New Haven Register, and the headline said, "Don't tell Tony he's a phony."
Tony Altamar.
So, it was pre-Mario Mancini. Mario Mancini wasn't born yet. So let's take a look at 1983. The coconut hitting in the head era.
Piper and Snuka, classic Piper's Pit.
So, what I see in today's day and age is I see a very, very large company with a very huge roster of many, many wrestlers. Not only are there, it's kind of like the WWE is kind of like baseball now.
Valid point.
You have the major leagues, and you just have, I think you literally have hundreds of people in the minor leagues, and they keep signing one after another.
Well, it's a great time to be in the professional wrestling business, especially in the independent.
And another thing, too, is if an independent gets too big, the WWE snatches them up.
They'll scoop them up.
They'll scoop them up, but sadly, they'll let them die at the compound or NXT.
Well, they will pay you to sit home.
Right. Well, they're just dragging them to get them off the road. You know what I mean? They're just get them in to get them off the road. That's classic Vince philosophy. However, let's get back to the difference. As you're talking a very closed shop. If somebody wants to keep count, they can keep count. So Let me rattle my brain, and this way the kid can compare numbers. So, if you want to keep count, whoever wants to do that.
Keep count, kid.
Let me start. Andre the Giant. Hulk Hogan. The Iron Sheik. Nikolai Volkov. The Wild Samoans. The Moondogs. Jimmy Snuka. Greg Valentine. Tito Santana. Paul Orndorff. Jose Luis Rivera. Johnny Rods. Myself. Charlie Fulton. Steve Lombardi.
The Brooklyn Brawler.
Steve Lombardi.
Mike Lombardi.
Canada's greatest athlete. There.
Dino Bravo.
Mike Sharp. Iron Mike Sharp.
Oh, well, Dino Bravo was a close second.
Dino Bravo was there. No, Dino was not there.
We're at 20.
S.T. Jones.
21.
Big John Studd.
22.
Salvatore Bellomo.
23.
Rick McGraw.
24. Humming.
An amazing memory, you cocksucker.
1999.
Ivan Putski.
25.
Brutus Beefcake.
26.
Awkward silence, Mancini.
It is awkward silence because I'm trying to remember as much as I can.
Superfly, Steamboat.
Well, to your point, Mancini.
No. I'm talking early.
Oh, early.
Okay, there you have it. Most of it. I might be missing 5 guys.
You came up with about
so
30 names.
So 30.
Let's just say 30 guys. I walked into a business with 30 fucking guys
On the roster.
On the roster.
On the entire WWF roster.
It was closed.
Closed society,
shop.
Mancini. Closed society.
Closed shop. It was closed fucking shop.
When kayfabe meant something.
It was closed shop. All right. So now that was 84. So now let's flip to 85. Okay. And
Pre-WrestleMania 1.
Right. Pre-WrestleMania 1. Then they started walking in. As you can see, March of 85. Bundy.
Well, the stars.
The Hart Foundation. Savage. You know,
all the top athletes from around the globe.
All these guys started walking in and started expanding. But even as it expanded, Tony Atlas was there in 84 too. So even as it expanded, it still wasn't getting that large. I mean, guys were coming in, the Rougeaus, and you had your Sid Vicious and your Big Bully Busick, and they just kept coming in and coming in. I get it.
So to your point, Mancini, if I'm understanding this correctly, back when you and Perez and Big Steve and Roma were on the roster, you may have had, and I'm going to give a rough estimate, of 50 or less grapplers on the entire roster.
Right. I would say the whole time I was in, at any given point, you had 50 or less.
Okay, and now compared to nowadays,
That's about 60 to 70.
I'm going to come to you now, kid.
Yeah.
What is the roster size of WWE? And I'm talking about throw in Raw, SmackDown, NXT.
Oh, well, if you're throwing in NXT.
That's what you have to throw in, because Mancini's talking about the entire roster.
If you're talking about the entire roster,
yes,
right
give
now,
me a rough number.
We got 120
Hundreds.
people,
There's more
130.
than that.
Well,
there's more than that. Under contract,
if
there's more than that.
Guys on camera, there's about 100. But there's also about another 50 to 80 in the Performance Center who haven't even gotten a TV yet.
I would beg to differ. I'm going to give an estimate. I'll bet you there's, whether they're sitting home under contract, whatever it is, active people on the roster, I'll bet you there's closer to 250 or 300 current grapplers right now.
Oh, yeah. Because you have NXT
that's
UK.
That's to Mario's point.
And not only that, Big Daddy, how about The Office?
Well, The Office is unbelievable.
Was a 3-floor building off of Arch Street in Greenwich. It was Big Daddy. It was twice the size of the Delta building.
Well, and look at it now, Mancini. How many?
It was fucking skyscraper.
Well,
What building are they taking
it's a
over?
Forbes 500
It's like
company.
the UBS building.
Yeah, they're taking over the
yeah.
UBS building. It's a monster.
And they're
So,
gonna put
so
everything
to your point, Mancini, of the differences as everything changes with time and evolves, just like technology and the world and everything else that we're talking about. What a different time. And that's what I love about being here on the podcast, is us being able to relive.
Yeah, but you know what the people have to understand, Big Daddy?
And the kid bringing in the
What they
future.
have to understand is, even though it's evolved, better storylines, better scientific wrestling, okay?
Better psychology.
Better psychology, which there's no psychology in today's wrestling. And you know what? It's just a bunch of guys under 200. Most of them are under 200
maybe
pounds.
not better athletes.
They weren't better athletes, but they were better grapplers.
Bingo.
We prided ourselves on being good wrestlers. Vince McMahon himself, I heard him give a speech that said, I don't care if you're 7 feet tall. If you're not a good technician in the ring, I don't need you. Now it's the complete opposite. Who gives a fuck the way you can wrestle? But it's how you look and how they can market you. But I have to tell you
It's
this.
a valid point, Mancini.
Not here at Paradise Alley Professional
No, Paradise
Wrestling.
Alley is through and through old school, Mancini, and that's what you guys do here. And with that being said, you know, we're over an hour now. Perez is going to give me the pirouette elbow. He's waving me down. I challenge any producer to come down to the facility and try to kick Perez's ass, because it's not going to happen. Mancini, episode 22 of Mario Chaos and the Kid podcast. We'll be back here next week. Take us out. Wait, first, Kid, say something.
Something.
Oh, that's good enough for me. Mancini, take us out.
Ladies and gentlemen, we will see you next week for yet another episode of Mario Chaos and the Kid.
Baby, you did something to me. I couldn't sleep at all last night. Just thinking of you. Maybe things weren't right when I was tossing and tossing and turning all night. I kicked the blankets on the floor, turned my pillow upside down. I never did before, because I was tossing and turning and tossing and turning all night. Jumped out of bed, turned on the light. I pulled down the shade, went to the kitchen for a bite. Rolled up the shade, turned off the light. I jumped back into bed, it was the middle of the night. The clock downstairs was striking 4. Couldn't get you off my mind.